man, Ian. Sometimes I feel like these bikes are just a little too heavy for these adventures.
Yeah, I wonder that. Man, these things are kind of big sometimes.
At this point, I'm not even sure what I should be packing for this trip.
I wonder if we should ask Sam Manicom.
Let's go down to the pub and see what he has to say.
I like it.
Let's ask Sam.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
So we're sitting here at Waltz Brewing in Forest Grove with Sam Manicom. Been around the world, spent 8 years on two wheels. Seems like the hot topic and the trend these days is for adventure bikes to be going smaller and smaller in displacement. Do you think you could do that same trip you did on a smaller bike? You did the last one on an 800, you're on an 800 now. What are your thoughts on that?
There's something weird about me and an 800, isn't there? I don't know how that's actually come about. It just literally just happened that way. The technology that is available now is absolutely phenomenal. You know, in the 90s, what a 125 would do or a 250 would do was a completely different ballgame to what they will do now. So the fuel consumption was horrible on the small CC bikes, and quite a lot of them were still two-stroke. Now you've got smaller displacement bikes which will sing and dance when you're out on a bigger trip. And there are people who are going around the world. I mean, I know people who have gone around the world on Honda C90s, as well as people who have gone around on 250s and 350s and 500s and 650s and so on. So the range of the smaller bikes it's absolutely possible. I think it goes back to a certain extent to what you feel comfortable riding and what is tough enough to make it all possible, because a whole journey is about the ability to take advantage of opportunities. One of the reasons that I was happy with the R80 GS was because it would take me everywhere that I wanted to go. So I guess about 80% of the time she was absolutely brilliant fun to ride. 15% of the time she was hard work, and 5% of the time she was a complete and utter pig because of the weight, and I was dropping her all of the time. One of the things that I learnt, and is still important whatever displacement bike you're riding, is watching where your centre of gravity is. By keeping your centre of gravity really low, then your balance, whether you're on road, off road, or juggling with traffic in a monster city, makes an absolutely massive difference. But the ability of the smaller CC bikes is absolutely superb now. Having said that, quite a few of the manufacturers now are looking at the bigger displacement bikes, such as the 1300 BMW, but it's a lot lighter, it's more responsive, it's more adaptable. So just because it's a big bike doesn't mean that it's not necessarily still the right bike. It keeps coming back to what do you feel comfortable on and what's going to make you feel that your trip is being a success with a smile.
Yeah, there's a lot of advancements in technology making bikes do things that we didn't think were possible even 10 years ago. I think that's pretty great. You have a pretty, well, we all do on bikes. We have a pretty small package we have to fit everything into. What are a couple things that are luxuries for you that we wouldn't think to bring on a typical trip?
I think about my luggage as being two things. The first is essentials, and the second is the luxuries. And the essentials list tends to be quite large, but it includes such things as my sarong. I always carry a sarong because of the flexibility. And there's that two uses rule that I think is so important when you're trying to work out your gear. Every bit of equipment that you can carry that has two uses means that you have to carry less. And that helps massively with getting your load down. Now, my sarong, for example, it's great for the midnight dashes to the toilet when you're on a camping site. It's an extra layer when it gets cold. I can lay on the beach with it. One of my other essentials, and don't laugh because I'm an Englishman, is my collapsible umbrella. Now, I started with a collapsible umbrella because I saw in Ethiopia, and this is a lot of it's high altitude and it can be baking hot. Many Ethiopians were walking around with umbrellas in the middle of the day because they were walking around with their own personal pool of shade. Now, because I've got bike gear, the first thing, of course, I'm going to do when I'm stopping somewhere is look for the shady part of the street to stop in. But if I've got to then stomp around in my bike gear, I'm going to be boiling a bag within seconds. So that pool of shade is absolutely wonderful. I've also cable tied my umbrella to the handlebar when I've been doing a tyre change, and that's given me that pool of shade to work in. One of the things that's nice also about it is that when it's hot and it's humid and you're in the rainy season and everybody else is walking around in their sweaty Pacamacs, I'm walking around in shorts, flip-flops and my t-shirt underneath my umbrella, so if there's any breeze, I'm catching it. It's just so much more comfortable. But a friend, Owen, he does quite a lot of off-road training, and he listened to me when I talked about that one time, and he started saying to all his clients, you have to bring a collapsible umbrella. Well, they all thought he was absolutely barking mad, but he told me it worked out as an also very important tool in that one of their customers took a tumble and broke a leg. Because so many of his clients were carrying collapsible umbrellas, they, with cable ties and duct tape, used 3 of them to make a splint. And then they left him sitting in his pool of shade waiting for the emergency truck to come up, which was only about 40 minutes away. So, you know, that's that multi-purpose thing that I like so much. One of the things that I carry as a multi-purpose is one of those solar collapsible lights. A friend, Jim, gave me this, and when he gave it to me, I was carrying a lot of stuff and I didn't really have space for it. And my first thought was, I've got my head flashlight, I've got my light on my phone, what do I need something like this for? But it soon became a favorite bit of kit. Not only inside my tent, and because it's solar powered, I've got no batteries involved, but also when sitting around a campfire I'm not allowed to have, several people put those lamps down on the ground and you've just got that focal point. When I had a breakdown coming from Phoenix towards Las Vegas not so long back, it was beginning to get dark and I dug this thing out and it's got a flashing light aspect to it, and I was literally in the process of hanging on the back of my bike as a flashing light warning to people that were going to be approaching me in the dusk and soon the dark, that I was stuck down by the side of the road. So those are sort of multi-purpose things that I really like. As far as luxury items, well, that's a totally individual thing, isn't it? And again, it comes back to the beauty of motorcycle travel being us being individuals. I have a beard. So for me, I like to carry a pair of scissors that are just purely and simply for cutting my beard. I think first impressions when we're traveling make a big difference. And I have had to cut my beard using a very blunt pair of scissors before, and it's a bit of a tearjerker. I mean, just looking at you guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I've never tried it, but maybe one of these days.
The Hagrid look is pretty darn cool, actually. I just look ridiculous with it. It just doesn't suit me at all. But anyway, if I'm on a shorter trip, but still, let's say a couple of months long, and I've got the space, then I'll even carry a beard trimmer with me, which has to be a total luxury, doesn't it? It's those personal things that you carry that you don't necessarily need, but make your life better.